Well, this will be the first video on my new YouTube channel, so you guys are going to have to forgive me. I'm a little shy on camera and I've never done it before, but I just wanted to use this as a time to introduce what I'll be doing. I will be hiking the Pacific Crest Trail coming this spring, and this channel is not only going to be about hiking and adventures on trail, but also about unsolved mysteries and disappearances, things like that, to hopefully keep some of the more recent cases alive and maybe even help bring some of those to a close. I've always been very interested in true crime, and I like solving mysteries, studying mysteries and things like that, and I also love hiking. So what I plan to do is actually make these videos while I'm on trail and discuss some of these mysteries, and some of them which actually occurred during hiking adventures or things like that. And I thought it would give it a more of a real feeling to be actually out there and talking about these kind of things. So, and I also really hope to get your input on cases you'd like me to do and things like that. For this first video, I just want to go over some things about my PCT adventure and hopefully introduce myself a little bit. My name is Brian. I did attempt the PCT last year, and I started late at the end of May, and I made it all the way to Walker Pass, and right as I passed Walker Pass, and at this point most other through hikers were much further north. It was not uncommon for me to go days without seeing another hiker. And I was crossing over a downed tree over the path, and an earthquake hit. I didn't know that was happening at the time because I'm from the East Coast, so I actually thought I had somehow inadvertently started a rock slide. And unfortunately, since I was already off balance, I got completely off balance, and one of the tree's limbs actually jammed into my right ribs, and then another one hit this knee right here, which I'll put some pictures up of. And but fortunately, the irony of that tree is that it caused that damage and caused me to be off balance in the first place, but another one of its limbs got wrapped around my pack straps and saved me from going over the cliff, because a lot of the trail in those places are, you've got a cliff on this side and a cliff on this side. So unfortunately, I made it to Kennedy Meadows, which should have been like maybe a 2.5 day hike. It took me almost 4.5 days, and from there I had to get a ride back to Tehachapi because all the surrounding towns, Ridgecrest and everything, were in complete ruins. And I saw a doctor in Tehachapi, and they didn't want me to go back on trail, but I really wanted to, and so I pressed on. I actually rented a car to explore some of the areas of Sequoia National Forest and those kind of places, and I made it up to South Lake Tahoe, where I saw another doctor and actually got x-rays, and that's where I was informed that I actually had 2 broken ribs, and without further testing they couldn't be positive on the knee. So unfortunately, all those things kind of were a catalyst to my trip coming to an early close. It was very painful to hike with broken ribs with the pack on. So anyway, but I'll be going back this year, and I'm not going to start right at the border. I'm going to start a little bit further north, still in the desert, because I actually liked a lot of parts of the desert. So, and I'll be, of course, documenting that, but more of just, not just documenting me hiking. I want to get input from you guys and see what you'd like to see on trail. And I know there's a lot of other people that are vlogging things, and I'm just kind of hoping to do something new. Don't get me wrong, I love watching other people's channels, and I'm just hoping to bring something a little bit newer to the table, and with your guys' help, maybe we could turn it into something really big sometime. And I think a lot of times with people prepping for a thru hike, they don't focus as much on the physical training. I see a lot of videos about gear and things like that, which of course I love gear too. So I'm not going to say that I'm impartial to that, but I think a big part should be also physically preparing for the trip, because it'll also help prepare you mentally. So we'll also go over some of that stuff, some of my ideas of what I do. Of course, I can't give physical fitness advice because I'm not certified to do that. I was a long time ago. At one point in my life, I was a personal trainer, and fitness has always been a big part of my life. So, but I encourage anybody that's going to start a fitness program to talk to their doctor and, you know, make sure you get checked out first. It's a disclaimer I have to say. So, but I think, you know, preparing physically for the trip is a big part of it. And so anyway, just wanted to give that little bit of an introduction. This is Brian from Mysteries and Adventures on Trail, and I'm going to make another video very shortly going over my basic gear. And I think that's another thing too. I noticed when I was watching a lot of these gear videos, it seems that like so many people, it's like a carbon copy of gear things. Like they all seem to pick a lot of the same things, and I remember thinking like, how can this gear all be so wonderful for each person? Which I know a lot of it is, but for me a lot of things didn't work out. I'll just give you an example. Like, I know everybody raves about these ex officio underwear. So of course, with my first big trip, I bought some and I worked out and hiked in them, and I was miserable. I mean, they got soaking wet. I just felt really uncomfortable in them. And then I noticed they actually smelled too after, if you were about on a long hike, not being able to wash them after a week or so. But so that's when I tried merino wool underwear, and I had a much better experience. And yes, a little bit more pricey, but if you catch sales, you can get them for right around the same cost. So that's another thing I hope to do, just give some people some alternate ideas of things that worked for me and maybe it'd work for you. I'm also known to carry a rather large tent for thru hikers. I carry the Cloudburst 3, which is a tarp tent. It's made for 3 people, but really I think it's more of a 2-person tent. And I like that because I'm over 6'1", and I like to spread out when I'm at the end of a long day. I like to know that I can spread out, keep all my gear inside, not my food, but it helps protect your gear and also just helps you to relax. The tent takes less than 5 minutes to set up, and it is 3 to 3.5 pounds depending on the options you go with. But for me, I don't mind carrying the extra weight, and I also love seeing the reactions when people see me with that tent. Last year it got referred to as the condo. Oh, that's Brian in his condominium. So anyway, I'll be putting up pictures of that and information on that if people are interested. And so anyway, I'll bring this one to a close, and I'll be making that next video shortly. And again, I'm new to this, so my videos are probably going to be pretty bad in the beginning as far as editing and stuff, but I really am going to try. And I'm open to suggestions and open to criticism, whatever you guys want, because really it's just that's what YouTube is about. So anyway, thanks for watching. So guys, I just wanted to first of all, hello, how's everybody doing? Hopefully having a nice weekend. A couple of people had asked me a few questions. Did I have a trail name? And yes, I do. The guys out west on the PCT, I met a great group of guys around Warner Springs. So shout out to Bear Scare and Spicy and Stickers and my man Ryan. And yeah, they noticed that I didn't quite look like a regular hiker, and I don't grow the beard, I don't grow the long hair. Sometimes I have scruff, but that's about as far as it goes. And so they called me trail bait because well, it's a lot easier for someone like you to get hitches. And then throughout the journey, it kind of became more evident because I'd go into a town and I'd get free upgrades in rooms, and the postal employees were like, "You're a hiker? Wow." Because I would always make a point of, once I got into town, I would get a room, clean up, because I do like to present myself in a presentable way. And so yeah, for those of you that are wondering, no, I'm not going to have the crazy beard and anything like that, but you know, you don't necessarily have to be hiker trash to do a thru hike. Okay, that's not like something you have to aspire to be like. You know, if you like to stay clean and whatever, do that, because there are a lot of benefits on trail to that. You know, for one, you know, being more hygienic, and for two, going into town and people not staring at you because you smell like a foot. But anyway, so that's how I got my trail name, Trail Bait. They said, like, well, we'll stick Brian out on the road, he'll get us the hitch, and then we all pop out and we get into. So anyway, I just wanted to sort of go over that, and I knew some people are wondering about the mysteries aspect of the channel. So those videos I am really hoping to shoot mostly outdoors on trail, along with most of the other ones. Unfortunately, the weather has just not been agreeable. It's been raining, crazy wind, so I did want to say that a lot of the videos will be shot outdoors, and the mysteries on trail part is going to be you know, following up on missing hikers or people that have gone missing recently, but mostly missing hikers, because, you know, in a lot of those cases, clues or, sadly, sometimes bodies are found by other hikers. And it's by getting awareness out there that, you know, some, as horrifying as it might be to be on a hike and come across a body, you know, you would be probably providing closure for someone's family, you know, if they can identify it, etc. But so I am going to follow through on that aspect of the channel, and I do have one video in the works for the first video of that series. And once I'm on trail, I am going to make content, be talking about those things on trail. I just think it'll be better that way. And in the meantime, I'll just continue to go over some of my prep for the PCT and any questions you guys have. And you know, please feel free to give me advice on video editing. I've never edited a video. I don't know any software. So if you guys have suggestions for beginners, because I'm a beginner, I've only done, you know, only about 800 miles of the PCT last year. And so I'm just helping to help other beginners or people of any level think of something they might not have thought of, or things like that. So really, any feedback is welcome, and I really do hope to see a lot of you guys out on trail. And it's amazing the friends and the connections you make on trail. It's, you know, you get home and people ask you how the experience was, and it really is almost impossible to convey. So anyway, I'm going to make some more thorough gear videos about each individual thing and some of the other things that I left out on the first overview. So we'll be getting to those shortly. And other than that, hope everyone's having a great day. Bye.